Hey, hello. Oh, well, I'm alive again. Well, according to the internet, I'm alive, and we all know the internet doesn't lie, right? Okay, so I did a little talking on the other video about the situation in Minneapolis, which is depressing as hell because you've got these people out there that the police force is being outnumbered by the ICE agents. And if I was governor, I would order the National Guard's commander to order the National Guard to round up all the ICE agents, take their guns and their masks, photograph them, run every one of them through all the various databases you have to see if they have criminal records, which would probably should have disbarred them or disallowed them from being ICE agents. And apparently, there's a lot of them that do, even if they go back to their juvenile records. It's just, and see how, check their applications and see how many actually lied on their applications. Because they always find, anytime a police department does it, they always find at least one that lies on their application. So it's just, the status symbol for the evil people to get on a supposedly legitimate law enforcement agency, which I don't think they are. I'd have to see their charter too, which I don't know whether they even have one, if it exists, as to what they're allowed to do or not do. Whether they say they're border agents now and customs agents, and they're which have the power to arrest and whatnot, but not without court orders, not without some sort of legitimacy, warrant or something like that. They just can't go around and knock on doors and arrest you. Right? That's not legal in most states, and pretty much should. If it is, it shouldn't be. But Donald Trump. When did Donald Trump? What was the last time Donald Trump ever actually gave a shit about the law? Right? He's doing to the United States exactly what he did in business, and he said he'd do it. I'm going to get this country up and running just like I did my businesses. Well, 8 of them went bankrupt. And depending on who you listen to, at least I only know of one, but they claim there's 3 casinos that he bankrupted. And I have to tell you something, okay? From what I've seen of a casino, it's pretty damn hard to bankrupt a casino. You get that by stealing or by running up debt that you can't pay. And I think that's how he operates. And then he washes his debt away, takes a cut of sells the business assets, and keeps the money for himself. That's Donnie. What a prick. But anyhow, he wants to do that to the United States, and you can see him doing it with the economy. Everybody says, "Well, the economy is going to get better. It's getting a little bit better." Yeah, it will. Uh, but the point is, I don't know if unemployment factors are real. I don't know whether. I think when you're laid off, you have to wait a certain period of time to collect unemployment because you're being paid. You have a month or whatever salary that they still have to pay you in a lot of these, especially government organizations. So you're not on the unemployment rolls yet, but you're basically unemployed, and you're desperately trying to find a job. And depending at what level you're at in these various agencies in the United States, will depend on whether or not you can get a job. It's as simple as that. If you're an entry level, you're probably not going to get a job. If you're higher up the ladder, uh, and you've got not a whole lot of experience, but you're higher up the ladder, still young, you can probably get a job. The 2 things that you're not going to get are people hiring you at old age, because a lot of government jobs don't pay Social Security. You don't get credit for Social Security. When my mom was working, and she had what they called civil service. She worked for the city of East Orange. Latter part of her life, she got a pension, but she didn't get Social Security benefits, or something like that. One of them you're not allowed to get back then for a period of time, anyhow. So I don't know how that works out. But a lot of these people that are working there, they simply got laid off, and they knew they were coming and just filed for retirement benefits, and they got them. You know, it didn't cost Trump a lot of money, and it kept these people quiet. It cost the companies a lot of money. You know, the investment companies that are involved in those pensions and everything. But these people that left government service, they had, if they'd been there for a while, they had a fallback uh, sort of situation that kept them from filing in unemployment the next day. I don't know how long they have to wait. On some instances, depends what's going on. So unemployment figures aren't real. They've never been real. All right. The unemployment figures don't cover people that have used up all their benefits, 52 weeks or whatever it is of benefits, without finding work. Those people show up in the welfare and other social services, but they don't show up in the job numbers. Okay. Now there's less jobs being created, and if you listen to the experts, one guy in the CNN interview, forget who the interviewer was or who the actual guy was, but basically he said, "You believe that AI will remove most of all entry level jobs," and what he doesn't say is when it's going to happen, and I think it's beginning to happen now. You look at go into automotive the automotive industry and check out how many people are employed in a plant making a very popular car as compared to how many were employed 20 years ago. Okay? Well, the economy's better. People are buying more cars. Ford's making more money, but it's not employing the same amount of people. That's what the unions go for now. They want you to get they want you to have a guarantee that you won't lose your job because of AI or something like that. You can't do that. I knew a guy worked for the railroad company. All right, he was a brakeman. At that particular time, if he went across country and he worked 2 hours, it was amazing. But he got paid the whole time he was on the train. Okay, he got paid good money. And basically, what he was doing was going around the country on vacations. He hopped a train. They don't need the brakeman. Brakeman's the guy that manually adjusts the brakes or directs sometimes manually directs the train to a backup or something like that. It's not done anymore. It's all done automatically. You pull into a freight yard, it's all automatic. It's all computer run. Nobody's doing a damn thing. Guys are hanging out smoking cigarettes, including the engineers, the drivers, or what I think they're called engineers, aren't they? Yeah, I think that's what their name is. They get paid very good money. Are there countries where there stretches of railroad in the United States that need the engineer and the brakeman? Yes, there are probably in Alaska or some very rural areas of the United States. But if you pull into a freight yard, you're not needed. It's all done automatically. Cars are coupled, uncoupled, switched, everything. It's an amazing situation. It's a beautiful operation. It's something to really watch, but you don't have that many people working there anymore, or if they are, they're not necessary. And a lot of the railroad unions have a lot of positions that aren't necessary but are filled anyhow. All right, so that's why the unemployment line is not really it's just this a good statistic that the you have a country of 300 million people, I think. I'm hoping maybe less, a little less, but around 300 million people. And you turn around and you get, we created 50,000 a month. Well, how many kids graduated college last month? How many kids came out? How many kids graduated schools or are done at the high school level? Start at the high school level and then go up, and how many of them are actually working or finding jobs? That's the problem because AI takes the simplest jobs, which are entry level positions, and gets rid of them. You have to be exceptional to get a job now. Not normal, exceptional. That's kind of rough on people. So I don't believe his statistics. He's out there. He's driving the economy in the same direction that he drove his casinos. And what was it? They showed a robot at the CES thing about out in Vegas there that can deal cards, and they're all excited because he can actually understand the game and he can follow the flow of the game and everything. Dude, you're fucked. I'm not going in there and playing against the machine. If I want to play against, I don't like playing against the machines, the poker machines. I like to see a human being. Human beings have tells. Human beings can be analyzed. Machines can't. They do the same thing over and over without expression, without emotion, without anything. So that's. I'm not a big fan. If you can't tell, I'm not a big fan of AI because I believe it's the potential for a Terminator situation, but that's just me. Now, what else is going on? Watch the football game Sunday. Pittsburgh lost their ninth playoff game in a row, and if Tomlin isn't fired, then he's got the greatest job in history. It should have been Rodgers' last game, hopefully. Don't know what Pitt's going to do because they haven't got a. They're going to have to, trade for a quarterback. They don't have to get somebody. I would go after Mac Jones from San Francisco, the backup quarterback to Purdy. He's actually a pretty good quarterback. And if you've got a halfway decent coach, and I think Tomlin's at least halfway decent, I don't think he's so far out of it that he doesn't know what he's doing. Or you can go get a new head coach, but you still have a young enough quarterback that you get a few years out of him. So that's what I would do if I was Pittsburgh. But, they have a habit of staying very, very loyal to people. So that's, no problem with that. That's something you don't see in sports very often. So I'm one of those people that are pretty tough. So what's going? This is a long video live, huh? Gee, I must have not talked for a couple of days, and I have all this shit built up inside me. Um, you can, comparisons to the United States to early Germany. I'm tired of doing that because nobody understands it. Nobody gives a shit. The internet and the requirement for instant gratification are the two things that are turning this country into a third world party country. And that's people say, well, what are you talking about? Wait and see, folks. All right, listen up. I'm out of here. Bullshitting is very hard work. Tires you out. You got to constantly come up with some sort of crap to talk to people about. Anyhow, I'll be back tomorrow. Find my subscribe button on my channel. You have to be on my channel if you're watching this video. I think that's the way it works. So find my channel, Jeffrey Bruff, and hit my like button, comment, whatever you want to do. There's no comments here. Nobody's here. So obviously nobody's watching this one, but that's life. I deal with it. Moving on to the next, thing in my life, which is the funeral. Anyhow, my birthday's Friday. They've already changed the plans for that one. It's gone from looking forward to it to being disappointed again. But that's just nobody does what I want them to do. It's my fucking birthday, not theirs. But anyhow, uh, that's that. And I will be back tomorrow. Hit the subscribe button, the like button, and all that good shit. Check out my other videos. I've got some oldies but goodies up there, you know. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Ciao.